Good morning. My name is Jan Shea, and on behalf of First Unitarian Church of Wilmington, Delaware, I welcome you to our online worship service. First Unitarian Church is a welcoming congregation. No matter your race or ethnicity, no matter where you are on your spiritual journey, and no matter whom you love, you are welcome here. This morning, we are welcoming to First U Reverend Tracey Robinson Harris, who will be filling in for the next several weeks while Reverend Pam is on a leave of absence. Reverend Tracey has served as an interim minister at several UU churches, most recently at First Parish in Framingham, Massachusetts. She has also served in the UUA as a consultant for ethics in congregational life and as a director for congregational services. Reverend Tracey earned her Doctor of Ministry and Master of Divinity degrees from Vanderbilt Divinity School in Nashville, Tennessee. She also earned a certificate from the UUA Independent Study Program for Ministry of Religious Education. She was raised a Southern Baptist and discovered Unitarian Universalism during high school with the help of a friend and a class in world religions. In addition to her accomplishments in the ministry, Reverend Tracey's spiritual practice is ballroom dancing. She competes as a 10 dancer at the regional and national level in 5 standard and 5 Latin dances. On behalf of our congregation, I'd like to warmly welcome Reverend Tracey to First U. And now let us prepare our hearts and minds for worship.
Friends, none of us expected that this Sunday as we gathered, we would be here in the wake of an insurrection, of acts of domestic terrorism fueled by a culture of white supremacy that occurred at the U.S. Capitol this past Wednesday. Those events were horrifying to watch. They generated fear and anger and doubt, and ended a day in violence that had begun in hope. thanks to the voters of Georgia. On the day of the insurrection, UUA President, the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, spoke, and her words that day included this: "We are resilient, we have courage, we have strength. Our faith is rooted in love and justice. We will not let everything we have worked for be lost. We will not allow the taking of Black people's votes. We are fighting for people's lives and to protect each other." In the wake of Wednesday's events, if you would find it helpful to be together for a time of sharing, of shared silence, and to light a candle of hope, I invite you to join Richard Speck and myself at 11:30 today for a community gathering and vigil. The information about how to join that gathering has been shared in email. The Zoom information is there for you. If such a time in community would be helpful to you, if you can offer your support to others, please plan to join us. I hope I'll see you there. As our service begins this morning, I offer you these words of Nancy Reed McKee. Our community knows no boundaries. We are not confined by the physical limits of walls, or for that matter, of what often binds us, restricts us, holds us back. We are freer than we know when we release ourselves and each other from expectations of what is needed for true community. We are here together in this space. I see you. I hear you. I love you.
As I light today's chalice, I give you these words by Reverend Scott Taylor. In the soft light of this flame, may our lives shimmer anew. May we notice new possibility in those relationships that seem lost. May the turning of year give birth to a dream. May the emerging light pull a new story into view. May what is give way to what might be. May we believe again in the world we imagine.
The ceaseless flow of endless time, no one can check or stay. We view the past with no regret, nor future with dismay. The present slips into the past, and dreamlike melts away. The breaking of tomorrow's dawn begins anew today. The past and future ever meet in the eternal now. To make each day a thing complete shall be our New Year vow.
Please join me now in affirming our mission. First Unitarian Church of Wilmington is a beloved community that nourishes minds and spirits, fights injustice, and transforms the world through loving action.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you today. Can you remember what you were doing a year ago? I cheated and checked Facebook. I discovered that I went out with a large group of friends and family. We went out to dinner to my favorite Indian restaurant, and then we all went bowling. We shared food and drinks and squished in around a small table. There were people all around us who we didn't know. I saw Elizabeth Donovan at the bowling alley. She used to work in children's religious education here at First Unitarian Church. I was so excited to see her that I ran up and gave her a big hug. I bet you and your family were doing things like that too a year ago. Going to school and work, spending time at friends' houses, playing soccer and basketball, attending music lessons, and going to church. You probably even hugged your friends and people you hadn't seen in a while. If you asked me last January what I imagined the world would be like in a year, I probably would have expected everything to be pretty much the same. Boy, would I have been wrong. I mean, just 2 months later, everything changed beyond our wildest imaginations. A virus spread around the world, causing a pandemic. In order to slow the spread of the virus, we all stayed home. All of a sudden, we weren't going bowling to a friend's house or to practice. We couldn't go to church, school, or work. Factories shut down. The roads were almost empty. There were half as many airplanes in the sky. And then something unimaginable happened. In the spring of 2020, people in Jalandhar, India, woke up to an astonishing sight. They could see the Himalayan mountains. Usually, the mountains can't be seen from the town due to the haze of pollution. People were so amazed to see the mountains, which are over 100 miles away, that they climbed on their rooftops to take pictures. Around the same time, people in New York City were being woken up by surprising noises. It wasn't the sound of traffic and horns honking that they usually hear. It was a different sound. It was the sound of birds chirping. In Venice, Italy, people usually travel by boat through canals to get around. The water is pretty dark and murky. After a few weeks in lockdown, the water in the canals became clearer because the sediment had a chance to settle. You could see marine life and the bottom of the canals. The thing is, as the lockdown continued, more and more unimaginable things continued to happen. Pictures showed smoggy air clearing in India, Los Angeles, China, and even where we live in the Northeast United States. After just 2 weeks, there was less pollution in the air. Waterways were clearer, and I just find this mind boggling. Seismologists, scientists who study the vibrations of the earth, reported that the earth wasn't vibrating as much. When the cars, trucks, trains, and factories all slowed down, the earth settled down, became calmer, and took a deep breath. Scientists told us that these effects wouldn't last or make a big impact once the world went back to being normal. But here's the thing. Who says the world has to go back to normal? We are experiencing a great pause. Like the earth, we settled down and took a deep breath. We are all looking forward to the time when we can gather safely in restaurants, bowling alleys, with our friends, in their homes, at church. But as Unitarian Universalists, our faith calls us to imagine the new day that is on the way. I wonder if you can imagine what you can leave in the past from before the pandemic. What can you imagine taking with you from this time into the future? Imagine our Earth healthier with less pollution. Imagine more justice within our communities. Imagine how you will move into the future as a Unitarian Universalist.
Our meditation is written by the Reverend Teresa Inez Soto. Please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. In this community, we hold hope close. We don't always know what comes next, but that cannot dissuade us. We don't always know just what to do, but that will not mean that we are lost in the wilderness. We rely on the certainty beneath, the foundation of our values and ethics. We are the people who return to love like a North Star and to the truth that we are greater together than we are alone. Our hope does not live in some glimmer of an indistinct future. Rather, we know the way to the world of which we dream. And by covenant and the movement forward of one right action and the next, we know that one day we will arrive at home. Join now in a brief time of shared silence.
You are invited now to say aloud or type into the chat box the name or names of people who may need our care, compassion, or concern at this time. May all whose names were spoken and those unspoken find peace and healing this day.
Thank you for your generous welcome of me as I began 6 weeks of temporary ministry with you, and as Reverend Pam takes a much-needed break and much-needed time away. I am in my home office in Ashby, Massachusetts. Once the parsonage for the First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Ashby, this house has been home to ministers since the 1840s. And I am glad and grateful to carry that history forward. My reflection this morning, I've given the title of Imagine the World Anew. Do you remember last April when the pandemic was new? A time when many people in so many places were inclined to stay home, observe public health guidelines, give thanks to essential workers. Julio Vincent Gambudo called that time the Great Pause. What the crisis has given us, he said then, is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to see ourselves and our country in the plainest of views. At no other time have we ever gotten the opportunity to see what would happen if the world simply stopped. Here it is. We're in it. A carless Los Angeles has clear blue skies. In a quiet New York, you hear the birds chirp in the middle of Madison Avenue. Coyotes have been spotted on the Golden Gate Bridge. These are the postcard images of what the world might be like if we could find a way to have a less deadly daily effect on the planet. Gambudo also warned that though the pandemic has allowed us the plainest of views, it has also opened us to the possibility, the likelihood of the ultimate gaslighting. We are now all too familiar with this art, trying to make us believe that what we experience is not true, that some entirely different thing is really real and true, really what happened. The pandemic version of ultimate gaslighting comes to us in the guise of a wish for a return to normal, to go back to the way it used to be. Historian and activist Rebecca Solnit is having none of it. Disasters, she writes, untether people from their sense that things cannot change because they have already. Things have already changed. The pandemic has untethered us in so many ways. Tens of thousands of positive COVID-19 diagnoses and hundreds of thousands of deaths, with numbers rising. Healthcare workers, from those in ERs and ICUs to cleaning staff, all exhausted. Hospitals beyond capacity. Small businesses closing because 80% of their business is gone. Millions on unemployment, relying on food pantries, risking eviction. Within this gaslit reality, that wish for the return to normal, what is true for me is that for so many, the sense of I, the focus on me, is so much more compelling than any sense of we. Going back to normal is not the direction I want to go. I want us to move through and forward and come out of this pandemic with a new normal. I want the plainest view the pandemic has provided, whether that view is of the planet or white supremacy or the critical importance of community. I want that plainest view to guide us as we shape a new normal, to guide us as we imagine the world anew. The pandemic is a portal, writes architect and author Arundhati Roy. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our data banks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies, dragging all this behind us. Or we can walk through lightly, with little luggage, ready to imagine another world and ready to fight for it. Ready to imagine another world and ready to fight for it. During April's great pause last year, there was less rumbling on the surface of the earth. A seismologist at the Royal Observatory of Belgium in Brussels checked seismic data the day before Belgium began a nationwide lockdown. And then the following morning, he checked again. The drop in activity was immediate. Daytime in April in Brussels resembled Christmas Day. During April's great pause, there was less air pollution in our skies. Analysis conducted at Stanford's Earth System Science Department revealed that pandemic-related reduction in particulate matter in the atmosphere over a 2-month period. Particulate matter that is the deadliest form of air pollution. The reduction in that likely saved the lives of 4,000 young children and 73,000 elderly adults in China over a 2-month period. During April's great pause, city soundscapes changed. Rebecca Franks, an American living in Wuhan, China, observed on the 48th day of that city's quarantine. I used to think there weren't really birds in Wuhan because you rarely saw them and never heard them. I now know they were just muted and crowded out by the traffic and the people. All day long now I hear birds singing. It stops me in my tracks to hear the sound of their wings. During April's great pause, oceans were quieter. North Pacific humpback whales moved northward into the waters off southeast Alaska. It's a region popular with cruise ships for views of local wildlife. And this would be the quietest entry humpback whales have had in southeastern Alaska in decades. Michel Fournier, a marine ecologist at Cornell, described it like this: nature is taking a breath when the rest of us are holding ours. This worst of times may be the best chance we'll ever get for a new normal. On a personal scale, in our communities, nationally in our government. In Julio Vincent Gambudo's words, if we want cleaner air, we can make it happen. If we want to protect our doctors and nurses from the next virus and protect all Americans, we can make it happen. If we want our neighbors and friends to earn a dignified income, we can make that happen. If we want millions of kids to be able to eat if suddenly their school is closed, we can make that happen. We can make all that happen. Remember last April, clear skies over China saved thousands of lives. Lions rested in the roadways of Kruger National Park in South Africa. The Himalayas were visible from India, and the sound of birds' wings was heard in Wuhan as coyotes sauntered across the Golden Gate Bridge. The sickness and fear and death, the renewal and recovery and hope revealed in last April's great pause. All that was revealed then, all of this is real. What is also real is that we have an opportunity to create a we. We, the people, we, the planet, we, as compelling as, more compelling than anyone's eye. We can imagine the world anew.
We would be one, as now we join in singing a hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
Today's stewardship moment is a special collection for NAMI Delaware. NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. The Delaware chapter of NAMI was founded in 1983 by Simon and Jill Shute, along with a group of families desperate for support for their loved ones. Over the years, the organization has grown to provide a wide range of awareness, advocacy, support, education, and housing programs to support those affected by mental illness in Delaware. In addition to their many signature programs, NAMI Delaware offers an annual education conference and many special events and presentations. They also shape national public policy for people with mental illness and their families, and provide volunteer leaders with the tools, resources, and skills necessary to save mental health in all states. NAMI Delaware also has a toll-free helpline that provides free referral information and support, a much-needed lifeline for many. Public awareness events and activities, including Mental Illness Awareness Week and NAMI Walks, successfully fight stigma and encourage understanding. NAMI Delaware works with the media, educators, healthcare professionals, elected and appointed officials, and many more to raise awareness and shape policy. Your gift to NAMI Delaware helps to ensure that these programs and efforts, so vital to those affected by mental illness, are able to continue.
The National Alliance on Mental Illness in Delaware is dedicated to supporting, educating, and advocating until there is a cure for severe and persistent mental illness. As 2020 has shown us, mental health is as critical as physical health, and there is no place for stigma. It is okay to seek help, and NAMI Delaware stands ready with resources like housing, provider referrals, confidential support groups, and public awareness programming. At NAMI Delaware, we dream of a time where our community embraces total wellness, and everyone is free to live to their potential. Visit us at namidelaware.org and follow us on social media at NAMI Delaware to learn more.
Please give as generously as you can. There are several ways to donate to NAMI Delaware. You can send a check to First Unitarian Church and write Sunday Offering in the memo line. You can go to our online donation page. You can use the Give Plus app on your smartphone, or you can go directly to NAMI's website donation page, www.namidelaware.org/donate. And now please join me in dedicating our offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings.
Hello and Happy New Year. It's relevant every day because we're always making a revolution, right? Always coming around the sun, and always have the opportunity to start fresh, start new.
We have been weighed down by sadness like a stone. We have yearned. We have yearned. We have sometimes felt so utterly alone. While we turn Let's say we make one more circle, one more circle, one more circle around the sun.
The words of our benediction. Let us bless and keep one another. Let kindness and compassion be ever present among us, ever present in our lives. Let us get on with loving each other as best we can.
We extinguish the chalice here that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again.